Hello, it is September 2024 now, and I'm doing a review for this book. It is Sophie's World by Jostein Gaarder. I'm guessing that's pronounced. So she is Norwegian. So yeah, my pronunciation might not be very good. Okay, so I've had this book for a really long time. I was given this book when I was like an early teen, and I did try to read it at the time. I only got about halfway through, so I wanted to try and read it again and finish it this time. So it is a book for sort of that age group, sort of early teens and things, to sort of introduce them to philosophy and different philosophical ideas and philosophical characters throughout history. So it's a fictional story though, about a girl who's getting this sort of philosophy course from a mystery character who's just suddenly come into her life, and there's lots of sort of mysteries in the book as you go along, and a few twists. So I'm really interested in philosophy and history. So this book, it does appeal to me. I'm not a big fiction reader. Yeah, so this book, it was okay. I did find it a bit boring, particularly at times. And I think that's because I don't enjoy fiction as much. And sometimes as well, the sort of philosophical information could become a bit like reading a textbook. And there was sort of so many different people and ideas in there that I think it would be quite difficult to actually remember much from it unless you have sort of, knowledge in that area already. But it was okay. I thought the story was okay, and it had a good twist in it and things like that. I think I didn't love the characters. I didn't feel that anybody in the book was particularly believable. So then they're just characters to put ideas forward with. Sorry, I might be being a bit harsh. But yeah, so at times I did feel like I had to sort of plough through it as well. It was getting I like philosophy, but some of the information, it was almost like doing a sort of Google search and just having the blurb with the sort of main points about somebody. But obviously this book was written before we were doing Google searches to find out this stuff. So I can definitely see how, particularly before the time of the internet, this would be a really good introduction to hear different names and get a little brief description of those people's ideas and how they related to who had come before them and who came after them. So I can see how it would have been particularly good then, before the internet. So yeah, I quite liked the twist in the story about Hilda and who she was and who that meant that Sophie was. Yeah, I liked that. I didn't really like the ending to the story. It just sort of ended, and I didn't really see where it was going. But it wasn't as bad as the Major's ending to his story, because that was just really made no sense. Okay, I also. Some of the stuff, so there were some people in there who I didn't know much about, and it was quite interesting to learn a little bit more about them. However, I didn't agree with some of what was written about some of the other philosophers and their ideas, and a kind of misinterpretation of words and phrases such as logos and know thyself. I didn't really agree with the interpretation of what they meant, but I guess that shows how differently things can be interpreted. I always think that with things like when people think that society should be constructed around, say, a certain book or a certain set of maybe pledges, and you can see how they can be so differently interpreted to give quite different cultures. So I guess that's a reminder of that. I think what I enjoyed most about the book was just being reminded of how many interesting historical and philosophical characters there are who I would like to look into further and get a deeper understanding of their ideas and things like that. So I think that's what I enjoyed most from it. I think I would recommend it for young people, maybe to just get a really brief understanding of different people and ideas, although I would worry of how much they're going to really take in, because it's such a fast train ride through history and philosophy. Okay, so that's all I've got to really say about that book. I didn't love it, but it was okay. And I might recommend it, but I wasn't gripped by it at any time. Wasn't gripped by the characters. I think I can see the benefit of using a fictional story and characters to get across those ideas, but I just didn't feel gripped by them. So that's the end of my review for that book. And the book that I'm reading now is this one, which is What Your Aches and Pains Are Telling You, by another non-English, this man's French, Michel Odoul. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that atrociously. So I'm reading that at the moment, and I'm really enjoying this. I'm gripped by this. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you next month and I'll have a full review for that. Okay, thank you.